Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some quite awful things to go and talk about over here, and we're going to discuss the ongoing kind of big negative PR when it comes to Nintendo as of these past few days. Now, in case you guys have been watching some of our videos, we've actually been seeing some really horrendous stuff when it comes to Nintendo, mainly because, well, they've been trying to go get people literally fired from their jobs, they're trying to go and basically sue people, and right now they've been trying to go take down YouTubers, doing modded stuff, but right now as well, Nintendo's also been apparently now trying to go and basically hold a hacker hostage for the rest of their life. Now, I just want to go give a preface on this video. I mean, if someone's hacking, breaking NDAs or whatever, I don't want to give them a free pass, but it's been going crazy and how much bad legal stuff's been going on for Nintendo, especially with how notorious they have been these past few years, especially on how they can interact with the community, people like entertain their games, making mod for their games, content creators, and everything in between. And as well, I keep telling you guys, give me a few more days when it comes to the actual YouTube setup itself. We'll probably take some days off in the very near future to make sure everything's all working good and looking all good to make it a little bit nicer for the videos. We'll be kind of working that a little bit. I'm not really a big fan of like the big blackness and this for the background, all that type of stuff. So keep that in mind. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on Twitter and Twitch down below in case you want to follow. Of course, everything else too as well down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. So as I mentioned, first and foremost, we've been seeing some awful statements. Number one from yesterday on GameStop, where we really went and saw GameStop themselves go and talk and mention that they specifically wanted to fire an employee for leaking out the early access for the Legend of Zelda console. Now, that kind of definitely made a lot of folks kind of somewhat concerned. I want to keep on saying, legally, I get it. I'm more going to talk more like the morals and ethics, I think, for all this stuff. So basically with all that, that's been some bad drama. A lot of YouTubers who've been making and trying to specifically have the community outsource mods and make specific mod packs or changes or doing things like making Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild multiplayer, as well have also been getting taken down by Nintendo, and it's just been a really bad fiasco. But for now, apparently, Nintendo hacker has now been forced to pay them for life now after being released from prison over here when it comes to Nintendo drama. Now, I once again want to reiterate, sometimes when it comes to like NDAs, legalities, their own IPs, I mean, it makes sense. I don't want to give them like the most free pass, obviously, because if it's still bad or hurting the community, I still want to stand up for that and talk about that. But this is like nuts. Like Nintendo has literally been on like a warpath these past like week, especially when it comes to all this news. So basically, Nintendo hacker Gary Bowser has now been released from prison after a 40-month stint in jail. But also right now, they actually must be paying the company now 25 to 30% of his income for the rest of his life after operating hacking website Max Console. Now, once again, I do want to reiterate that sometimes in life, like if you break the law, you break some basically if the judge decides this, it happens. It's not like the justice system is not always the most perfect thing, and I just feel awful for this guy. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to do anything sketchy or illegal to make things worse, but it is a very weird situation to be in just overall. So basically, Team Executor originally created mod chips and hacking tools for various consoles. They are also the master mids, I'm assuming minds, behind the Nintendo Switch custom firmware SXOS, which then allows the users to go play pirated games. Now, once again, I do want to reiterate that it is technically illegal to go play pirated games, but I think on the basic of legality, you are allowed to play emulated games, like basically using ROMs and ROM hacks of games you own. Now, you guys may correct me if I'm wrong. That's kind of just what my prior information knows, but I do want to say it should be technically legal if you own the game. Like, let's say I bought Call of Duty, I could technically emulate it because I have the files for it. So in theory, you legally own the original base licensing for it, you're fine. Now, when it comes to making money off of it, though, that's when things get a little bit more harder. If you're trying to go and sell things, it basically is facilitating the act of illegal emulation, and at the same time, if maybe even just one person who bought maybe a specific microchip or a modded console or anything of the sort, you are in theory technically selling people the access to access bad illegal things. Now, do they necessarily know that when it comes to this? I'm not really sure. I'm sure the judge and them probably discussed this quite heavily, so I can't really talk about an old court case that happened quite a while ago, but it is kind of crazy to see. So in 2020, the release of SXOS and Switch mod chips caused some ire at the House of Mario. The chips were sold by Team Executor and published and promoted their products on websites such as Max Console. There you can find out how to use and where to purchase the mod chips themselves, and they basically giving tutorials, giving people access to it and stuff like that. So in 2020, Canadian Gary Bowser, who ran the Max Console website, was extradited then to the United States following his arrest in the Dominican Republic. Once again, these are kind of big deals. I kind of feel like this whole Nintendo drama is going a little bit more hardcore because these are bad. Like, these are people that are literally like losing their jobs, or these are people that are literally having like months upon years of funding and money for modded stuff getting taken down, or this guy who is literally getting extradited out of the country to deal with this. Now, I don't want to give this guy a free pass. Once again, like, some people do mess up, the court systems themselves that they say got messed up, and there's also legal like IP laws, copyright laws, like etc. Like, you can't really make money off this type of stuff. So I don't want to give it a free pass. Like, I just want to understand, like, state that I understand like this weird middle ground of it. So basically for this one, it's just rough. Like, this guy is just boned. So according to reports, Bowser willfully participated in a cyber criminal enterprise that hacked leading game consoles and that developed, manufactured, marketed, and sold a variety of circumventive devices that allow the enterprise customers to play pirated versions of copyrighted video games. So the big deal with them is that basically Nintendo's saying, hey, you sold someone, let's say, this is all just like hypothetical, you sold someone a chip that basically goes and makes, it saves you, I don't know, let's say like $300, because you don't go buy maybe 6 different games. And with that same specific chip, you're basically allowed to go and then use your modded console to maybe download brand new Zelda game the day it comes out, or very, very soon after, or maybe be able to go play any old school games, or emulate stuff on your Switch, or whatever it might be. And obviously that means that Nintendo as a company is then losing money, because the same people that are trying to utilize this stuff and play this stuff, or maybe potential marketers, are now just not buying stuff because they could get it for free. They buy it and give the money to someone else. And that's where the big legal issue lies. Now, I'm not going to go and disagree with that at all. I think that's messed up. As a company, you have to take this stuff down, or else then everyone would do this, and then you would basically make $0 as a big company. It makes sense. I understand why Nintendo's doing it. But man, they've just been on a really bad PR run these past few, weeks. As well, too, as I mentioned, if you are emulating consoles, you are allowed to go and do this. Although I think that's kind of a somewhat separate issue. I think he understands he's in the wrong, and I just think he probably cost Nintendo a lot of money. Like, I think they understand that, so we don't have to talk about that too much more. So basically, Bowser did go and plead guilty to the charges in November 2021. He was later then incarcerated at the Federal Detention Center in Seattle, but has now attained an early release from prison, citing good behavior as one of the primary reasons. Currently, he is awaiting a return to his home country of Canada, according to a recent video interview as well. So that's kind of going for that one too. So basically, though, there was basically a $14.5 million fine and damages. So basically, Nintendo, after this huge court case, pretty much just assumed that, hey man, bro, cost us a lot of money. $15 million. I will probably never make $15 million for the rest of my life, and probably not a lot of us watching this probably will ever either. It's a lot of money. So good luck to this dude. So basically, Bowser may have been released from prison, but the looming specter of Nintendo still stands tall. As Bowser explains in the above video, basically going to paraphrase this, he is going to have to pay the company back on a monthly basis, sending 25 to 30% of his gross monthly income to Nintendo, most likely for the rest of his life. They go and state, so far, less than $200 of the total $14.5 million, it's a very low percentage, has been paid off. It's likely that Bowser will never pay the full charges back in his lifetime. Would also not doubt that, because $15 million is quite a lot of money, especially when they took down his only other source of income too when it comes to, well, like his other side hustle. And then soon Nintendo will enjoy the release of obviously their flagship title, Zelda title too as well, although piracy is still a big issue with Nintendo Switches and Nintendo games as a whole, and a lot of folks are not really sure if this case is going to be like a big precedent case, or basically then Nintendo can be like, hey, we won this court case on these like specific 7 reasons, the judge ruled on this, this, and this, so let's go and sue with these other random folks over here. Mainly because, well, that's just, yeah. Like, hey, like, we already won one case, you guys want to try it again, go for it. Which, in theory, would actually maybe go and tone down a little bit for Nintendo's third-party, like, people trying to copy stuff, trying to sell ROMs, trying to go and pirate things, which in theory, I'm more of like the pro-consumer, and a lot of these things sometimes are older games, or more so especially on modded games, which has been very, very heavy in the YouTube topic. I don't think someone should specifically be selling private copies like how we saw for this. I think this is kind of wrong. I do actually think Nintendo is right, although I do feel bad that this guy's life is literally ruined. Although, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. He did actually technically go and have the courts also decide this too, so like, at the like, there was still due process, etc., etc. Do I agree with it? Not really, because this guy's life is probably ruined. Probably, I don't know if you even can go declare bankruptcy on this, because Jesus Christ, but at least on the bright side, he's only paid only $200 so far for Nintendo. But with all the other drama when it comes to Smash, when it comes to the modded scene, when it comes to games, when it comes to price points and everything else, a lot of folks are very, very skeptical of Nintendo and have been very eerie on them as of recently. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys like to go and follow. We have all the Amazon links too for all the consoles. Go pick that up as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.